Hi, Vlad here, diveinsideyou.com. As you should have realized by now, I'm going through the list of the 10 things that you need to become a software developer, the list that I introduced in my very first video. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this video as well as the next two are going to be about the things that I believe every developer should care about: yourself, other people, and code. So first let's talk about why I believe you should care about yourself and thus take care of yourself first and everything else second. A long time ago, in the galaxy not so far away, this one to be more precise, I got introduced to the invisible hand, which is a term coined by Adam Smith, who was a Scottish economist who lived in the 18th century, and not the freaking hand from Marvel's Iron Fist comics. Anyways, I'm twisting his words a little here, but I believe that the general idea behind the invisible hand was that if every individual cared for himself, then the society as a whole will be automatically taken care of as well. Staying a bit closer to the book though, his argument was that the society can be helped more efficiently if it's not helped directly. Now he was talking specifically about the income distribution and production, but I would like to generalize his words a little, which is a thing that programmers love to do, by the way. I don't know why, but this principle seems so logical to me. If everyone takes care of themselves, then it's all good. Now we're not here to start a philosophical discussion, nor is this an argument against altruism or being social. It has nothing to do with any of that. In fact, it's the opposite. It has something to do with the following. Instead of putting your happiness into someone else's hands, to me, okay, it makes sense to accept the responsibility of taking care of yourself first, and only when you do, you put yourself in a better position to help others, like me for example, or ironically, even yourself. By being a better version of yourself, you become a better helper, because all of a sudden, you're able to help in more ways. When you're asked for help, it's so easy to say something like, "Oh yeah, I would love to help you, but I just can't, I'm sorry." In other words, I didn't take care of myself well enough, so I don't have enough skill or expertise or resources to help you out. Take me, a developer. How would my life change if I lost all my 10 fingers? I would probably stop writing code and also doing other things, but let's concentrate on code for now. For me, choosing these hobbies is an irresponsible decision. Seriously, I know it sounds silly, but why would I put myself into this position? There are literally millions of other hobbies out there. Why would I specifically choose these? This example was a bit far-fetched maybe. Let's take something else. Let's say I had problems with my back. Nothing major, just hurts from time to time from all the sitting. Now a friend calls me and says, "Hey man, I'm changing flats next weekend and I have this washing machine which is kinda heavy. Can you help me out carrying it?" Am I a shitty friend if I say no? What if I pull my back? I'm a tiny guy and I already have back problems. Why would you even ask me that? If I don't help you move and stay healthy, and one day you ask me for my expertise, something that I can actually help you with, something that I'm really good at and you're lucky to have me in your life, I better not be lying in bed not being able to get out because I was trying to be nice to you a few years ago and pulled my back. Now I know that this way of thinking is a bit counterintuitive, and I'm not, and I repeat, I am not suggesting that you live by it. I just wanted to share my opinion with you. I thought it wouldn't hurt for us to get to know each other a little better. So don't be angry. Just breathe and feel free to let me know in the comments below what you think of my interpretation of the invisible hand. Okay, this whole invisible hand introduction got a bit too long. Let's get to the good stuff, shall we? Here are my 7 tips for taking care of yourself. Number 1. Sitting is the new smoking. I read an article somewhere once that said that compared to lying or standing, sitting is the worst position your body can be in. However, there are other studies that say that lying and sitting are equally bad for you, so take this information with a grain of salt. The article was basically claiming that in contrast to lying down, where your metabolism slows down and your insulin resistance rises, when you're sitting, your body is completely shutting down, so it doesn't process food at all. In any case, it's not like you can lay down all day and code, so we don't really have much choice. And I consider the benefits of a standing desk to be general knowledge, so I'm not here to talk about them. Remember that programming requires a ton of concentration, and you simply can't code when your back hurts. So try not to sit all day. Captain Obvious reporting back for duty. Use any excuse whatsoever to get up and walk around, and here's an easy trick. Take a bottle of water and a glass and put them on your desk. Now, the glass is important. It's not the same as having a bottle in front of you. It's way easier to drink from a glass instead of taking a bottle, opening it, drinking, closing the bottle. You will hydrate much more simply by having water in a glass. And what happens if you hydrate more? You visit the restroom more often, and therefore sit less. I encourage you to give it a shot. It's not gonna hurt, I promise. Number 2. Since you're sitting all day, it might not be such a bad idea to invest some money in a good chair. And I specifically use the word invest instead of using the word buy, because really good chairs tend to be really expensive and people usually choose to spend their money elsewhere. But think about it this way. As a developer, you're spending 8 hours a day in this chair. I know I told you in the first video that you don't need math to become a developer, but knowing simple arithmetic hasn't killed anyone yet, so let's do the math. A chair easily lasts 3 years, and even if it costs $1,000, which it doesn't need to by the way, but let's say it does, distributed over 3 years, it's only 28 bucks a month. It's $1 a day, people. Wait. And when I say people, I'm also talking to myself, because this bad boy cost me only 70 bucks. Number 3, if you can afford it, don't work longer than 8 hours. It sounds counterintuitive at first, but you will accomplish more if you work less. Let me explain. If you know that you have to be out of the office by 5 no matter what, and you have work to do, you will allow yourself less to get distracted and stay concentrated on your task instead. Because firstly, you have a deadline, and secondly, remember that accomplishing tasks is a habit and you need to follow your habits in order to stay happy. Studies show that companies that switch to a less than 8-hour workday show some decent productivity increase. Up to 30% if I recall correctly, but please don't quote me on that. Number 4, nutrition. As a developer, you will earn a lot. So much in fact that you can afford to eat in a restaurant for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Don't fall into this trap. Don't order shit only because it's cheap and easy. Plenty of people aren't happy with their weight these days. I can highly recommend this channel. It's Jeff Cavalier from athletenext.com, whom many people consider to be the most knowledgeable guy in the field. He's a licensed physical therapist and trainer to top professional athletes. My channel is not sponsored by athletenext.com in any way. I personally find his videos really helpful, so go check him out. Number 5, mental load. Programming is hard, and software development is even harder and more stressful. And don't worry, we will discuss the differences in one of my future videos. I already mentioned this in one of my previous videos that as a developer, you have to juggle a lot of things in your head from time to time. And if you do that all day, by the end of the day, your brain will turn into jello, and not in a good way. Firstly, accept the fact that it's not your job or your company's fault. Most likely, you'll be faced with the same problem in any company. You're a developer, and contrary to popular belief, you're not being paid for writing lines of code. Thinking about hard problems and hopefully solving them is what you're paid for. Secondly, accept the fact that this is a real issue that needs to be solved. Otherwise, you will burn out. Let me rephrase this. If you can't figure out a way to get your mind to relax, don't bother starting a career in software. It's like with driving or skiing, for example. The first thing you learn is how to brake and not how to accelerate. I'm talking from personal experience here. At some point in my life, I stopped going out on Friday nights because computers were stealing my energy all day. Any kind of physical exercise usually helps. Popular choices are Tai Chi and other internal martial arts like Bagua-chan or Qigong, yoga, running and swimming, and of course meditation, which is technically not a physical exercise. All these help to clear your mind, but even something as simple as changing your clothes entirely when you come home after a long day at work will tell your mind to switch modes from work to something more relaxing. Find whatever works for you and apply it consistently. Number 6, and this one is a combination of number 4, nutrition, and number 5, mental load. I read an article somewhere a long time ago claiming that our brains use the same energy pool for cognitive tasks and decision making. In plain English, it was saying that if things are stealing your attention all day, then by the end of the day you will have no energy left in the pool to make good decisions. This is why so many people end up going for unhealthy food after work. Does this sound familiar? Oh, I worked all day without rest. I earned this burger. Studies show that people who live closer to any kind of restaurants tend to go there more often. How crazy is that? And lastly, number 7, which is simply a collection of things that developers should pay attention to. Take care of your eyes, take care of your wrists, take care of your back, and I guess weight issues should also be on the list. As I said in my very first video, take care of yourself, physically and mentally. Alright, this one was a bit longer than usual. Let me know what your thoughts are on taking care of yourself first. I hope you liked this video. It's Vlad, and see you in the next one.